Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about BFS stuff. Mainly rods, but also reels. BFS reels, rods, what I recommend. I haven't tried them all. I've tried several from the cheap to the higher end. I haven't tried too many high-end rods because quite frankly they're typically a little too stiffer than what you want. Like it seems like Aliexpress has the best option for that reel, for like small creeks and streams, like for the guys that use them for trout mainly, but you can also just, panfish and small bass like you've seen in my videos. The high-end reel market though is out there as far as Aliexpress. Your reels from Aliexpress so far can't quite touch the high-end reels. I feel the rods from Aliexpress are right there on par, similar to the rods in your higher end, but when it comes to reels, you're still now this isn't the BFS XG, but the Aldebarans, the new Stees and the Alphas, the Airs, some people are saying are better than the Aldebaran BFS XG. But this little reel right here is the closest I've seen so far. It has that, I think it's FTW or whatever they call it. It's basically, they've copied pretty much what the Aldebaran BFXG braking system on some of these different reels. Now, this one doesn't have it. The GH100, and I've got the Black Knight coming. Also, check in the comments below. I don't have that reel yet, but by the time this video makes it out, I will already have that reel, and I'll be able to tell you if I like it better than this reel. I'm hoping I will. I think I will. But this is a good reel. This is a PW100. It's almost as light as the BFS XGs. Very nice reel. But then, okay, what do I put it on? This is only like $54. So you got a good BFS reel, very capable, throwing down to, say, 2 grams, 1/16 of an ounce. Anything lower, it might be doable, but it's gonna struggle. It'll throw a 16th ounce crappie jig pretty good. You got to have a small enough rod. But the main focus I want to talk about are rods in this video. And they're on the cheaper end. I'm not talking high end. They're out of order. Let's put them in order from lightest to heaviest, and it's gonna be hard to do. Okay, so right here, you guys see, get over there, you guys see all these rods right here? These are the 4 main rods I use that I would consider budget BFS. That's what we're talking about today. Budget BFS rods that are very good, but very, doesn't mean cheap as in cheap, they're junk, but very affordable, priced right, get a lot of use out of them. These are the rods. They're not the high end. If you wanted, I guess I'll throw it out there real quick. I don't have them, but would probably go with Shimano. The X Prides or the Zodius. Probably one of those two. My next one would probably be the Major Crafts. There's several options there. I like the look and the wrapping of the Zodius and the X Prides. They remind me of the Mega Bass that you probably remember. I had the Shading X, the Mega Bass series of the X7 Destroyer lineup, which are very crazy expensive, hard to get now. They want a small fortune for them. The X Prides, I believe, are like $250, somewhere in there. The Zodius are like, they may be $200 now, but those are what I recommend on high end. But you don't need that. If you want that, if you can afford it, look those up. Just find different actions and links that are similar to these. If you kind of going on what I do on this butterfly will not leave me alone. Thinks I'm sweet. Anyway, let's talk about these. The top one is pretty much for trout, small creeks and streams, pretty much a panfish only or crappie. I don't recommend it coming out to these, ponds, lakes, actual decent sized river type fishing, unless you're strictly after crappie or something. If you're bass fishing, that's where this one I would leave out. But very nice rod, 522 super ultralight. Next in the lineup, and the overall one that I recommend when people ask me for BFS, true BFS type fishing, it's it's actually not what you would call, you know, whippy, but it's got a soft tip, fairly stiffens up, can pretty much throw with a 5.22 wheel. It'll go down all the way down to 1/16 of an ounce, 2 grams, but it's 632 UL ultralight. Cayenne Teton, very good rod, 2-piece. They don't make it in a 1. I wish they did. I'd buy one, but people have also asked me about this. It coming loose or twisting. I hardly ever check that, and it's not really. I think once it was a little off, and I had to reposition it. But that's something I hardly ever check. No issues with it. Next in the lineup, 661 Light, still a Cayenne Teton. I balance this one. This one is probably my favorite overall. Just for the fact, I will mention, in case you didn't notice, the reel seats, see how they're different? That's the only downside to the 632. I wish, and I hope Cayenne in the future switches it to that. The 522 and the 661 and 662 have this. That just feels way better, looks better in my opinion, and feels way better when you're palming, holding on to it. But the 661 is that little bit stouter. To where the 632 I recommend for, you know, you can take it to those little streams and creeks, fish, you know, it's still short enough to get in there in some of them tight spots, but yet I can come out here and I can throw, well, you remember last year I tore them up with the popper and caught several bass, but I can use this for a lot of different things, up to about a 1/4 ounce. It's an awesome, versatile rod. That reel seat's the only downside. I don't really care. It's okay, but once you fished with these, it's like, it's not okay anymore. But this, I can also fish. It'll throw down to 2 grams. It's a little more of a struggle, but if you've got a real good BFS reel, it will throw those. It's better from like 1/8 of an ounce or close to 4 grams. It'll throw those 3.5 gram poppers and cranks pretty good. But then up to, I've thrown the big whopper plopper. I've thrown an 1.25 ounce bait on this rod. This rod is stout. Now I don't know if the 2-piece is going to be as stout, but this 1-piece is awesome. Now I also recommend it for treble baits. Any of these rods with the single hooks, like up to the, say, the Ned rigs, I also recommend you can throw the Ned rigs on any of these rods with the smaller original design for the Ned, for the TRDs, the, you know, Shrooms type Z-Man heads. You want a fairly small single hook. Once you get a little too big, that don't work. And all these rods are about $54 at Cayenne Tetons. Now I want to talk about one that I don't really mention a lot. I've got it in 1 or 2 videos. And what's funny is it's actually, you can find it here at Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's and places, and it's cheaper than any of the Cayennes. I don't know, durability wise, I've yet to break one. I've had a few different ones. I actually get one, then somebody in the family or a friend sees me fishing with it. What's that? Oh, you can get them for 30. I end up selling them. The one I have, this one is actually not even mine, it's brother's. 6'6" medium, very soft for what it says. The ratings, I believe, are way off. That's only, it says 1/4 to 5/8. Now I think it'll probably throw the 5/8, but that 1/4 is way off. It'll throw way less than 1/4 of an ounce. But very good rod. Now this one isn't what you would consider a true BFS rod. This is what I call powered BFS fishing. Whether you're throwing, and it'll handle all these, where's the other one? Whether you're throwing a 1/16 ounce with a, you know, full size like Senko type bait, but it'll throw down to that. There's just your like a 1/16 ounce TRD, probably a 32 ounce with TRDs. It'll handle all that up to pretty heavy stuff. And be looking forward to the video where I'm comparing this rod with my 802C NRX, because I'm gonna try to show you guys that this rod is way underrated for what you get. It's a 6'6" medium. This is a 6'8" medium. $530, $34. Be looking for that shootout video on just an all-around versatile rod for very light to heavy stuff. Like almost anything, once you get past the medium, your medium heavies, you're limited. You're at a certain, maybe down to a quarter, maybe. A lot of times not. Then you got to go up. A medium really is where it starts, where you can go what I consider all around, a versatile. I can throw these half-ounce baits with even with a little bit of a trailer, so they're actually more than a half-ounce on this rod, but I can get all the way down to here, to a little TRD, even smaller, about 3.5, those 4-gram baits with this rod. You can do it. The only other rod that I recommend that you can do it with this Kying Teton 661 or 2, but your hook sets, I found that also, even just today in the latest, sometimes once you get those single hooks that are fairly big, this Kying Teton doesn't have quite, it's got so much flex, you know, once you hook a treble bait or something like that with them, or get a decent, if you yank as hard as you can, this will help keep them pinned, but it's not great for hook sets. When you're dealing with your single bigger baits, these rods that have a kind of a soft tip but then get a little stiffer, and this one's a touch soft, but we're gonna, you know, check out that video and you'll see what I'm talking about. But will throw these, first of all, without breaking. If you remember the Conquerors, which are in the Kying lineup, 6.6 medium and the 6.8 medium light, I broke both of them throwing this exact bait. This is actually the bait. I had a different trailer on. It's probably weighed about the same. But if you've seen in the other videos, the NRX rod 802, which isn't rated for this heavy of a bait, or this one, which is technically is rated for 5.8, so it is rated for this heavy of a bait, will throw them without issue. They won't snap in half like I did with the other rods, which were almost brand new when they snapped. Guys, I hope you liked this quick video on what I recommend. If you have any questions, which everybody always does, I explain it in a video, but somewhere either on my Facebook or at the bottom of this video, someone will ask me the exact question I answered in the video. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'll try to answer them. Just like I said, the top one I recommend, if I'm going creek fishing, like you'll see me, you've seen me with Charles, you'll see me again in the future, this one's going for sure. I have repaired this one. I totally abused it, broke it. It shouldn't have been put through the punishment it did when it did break. But you go with the recommended line rating on it, which is I think only up to 3 pounds. You will not break this rod. I had 10 pound on it when it broke. So I'd probably put 6 as the lightest I go, and I will be putting 6 pound leader on this one. And then the 632 is the longest one I've owned. I've owned this rod for 3-4 years now. Like, I fished it, let the kids fish it. Just, it's taken a beating. It shows no sign of being worn out. The handle, these handles actually, when you first get them, if you can see the difference, a lot of people think, oh, that looks too, you know, bumblebee, you know, looks like a bumblebee, just too much yellowish. But they actually phase out and they start looking pretty good the older they get, which I actually like that. I added the handle on this other one just to balance it out. It had a split grip, which I did not like. It didn't go far enough. But same kind of styling as this, but it went into a split grip. But I like these reel seats better. This is the one for crappie all around. And take to those little creek streams. So if you had to buy one, this is one I recommend. 632. That's why when I was buying one, I bought just this one. Then I decided to get the others. But that is an awesome rod, like 54 bucks. If you want true BFS stuff. If you only want that light little trout, small panfish type stuff, 522. Little stream stuff, I don't recommend it for, unless you got your own real little like private farm pond, you just want to get out and play. But then if you're only going bigger bodies of water, but you want to be able to throw, you know, the TRDs, real small cranks, and have some fun with them, then this is one I recommend you. This one I caught my smallmouth bass on using a TRD. Small 1/4 ounce and smaller cranks, awesome for that. You can throw up to 1/2 ounce crankbaits. I wouldn't be afraid to throw the any square bill crankbait made. I wouldn't be afraid to throw with this, except maybe that huge, you know, Strike King one they make now. But you know, you can throw up to 1 ounce baits on this rod. This rod, if you do that, you want to be a treble bait because it's going to have so much flex that setting the hook on anything with a big single hook isn't going to be that great. And then this one for $34 can't be beat. I recommend everybody run out, order online, whatever, get you a Berkley Lightning rod. They do make it in a 7-foot medium if you just got to have a little longer rod. And I think it feels a touch stiffer than this, but it's very close, still capable of throwing lightweight stuff. So anyway, I'm out here, guys. Look forward to this video going up against the NRX rod. All right. Also going to be in that video the jackhammer chatterbait versus Z-Man original chatterbait. I know it's an ongoing process for me. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Get out of here, go bass and bonsai. I'll talk to you later. Gotta go.